Thank you.
So the first question here in Texas is something that everybody is concerned about, and that's the border. It took you almost 3 years to get the Mexican government to cooperate with the United States to use its military to stem the flow of migrants. What took so long? What was the resistance?
Well, we really took, we had a big problem. We had a big problem with a thing called the Democrats because they wouldn't approve the wall, and without the wall you wouldn't have the kind of numbers we produced. We produced numbers like you wouldn't believe. Now, your government, Texas, they're doing a good job. They're going to finish the wall that could have been done in 4 weeks if Biden gave the go-ahead. In fact, they wouldn't even allow Texas to use the panels, which are all bought, and they moved them over to another section of Texas. It's a disgrace what they've done. But we built almost 500 miles of wall. It's had a huge impact. Then we went to the Mexican government and we asked them for things that nobody's ever asked them. And they said, no, I'm sorry, we can't do that. And I said, that's okay. We're going to put a tariff on every car and everything that you sell into the United States. And they agreed to give us free 28,000 soldiers. And maybe most importantly of all is stay in Mexico, remain in Mexico. You know what that is? Where people had to stay in Mexico before we allowed them in, and not too many were allowed in because a lot of rough, tough people, countries are emptying out their prisons into the United States right now. You know that. Their prisoners are being emptied into our country. So, Bill, I would say this. It took 2.5 years to win the lawsuits, mostly Democrat-inspired, some directly by the House, to stop us. And we broke that. We won the lawsuits. We started building the wall. We're just about finished. And Texas is going to finish it up. But we should have been able to... Can you imagine the government? They asked the federal government approval, because it's all been bought, to use the sections of the wall which have been removed just to put them in place. And they said no. The federal government said no, we're not going to give it to you.
So I just want to understand. So you said to Obrador, look, if you're not going to provide Mexican soldiers at the southern border with Guatemala and the northern border with the United States, right, that we're going to raise tariffs on all the products that you ship to the United States.
Well, we're going to put tariffs on because there were no tariffs, and we're going to put tariffs on. A lot of people don't understand, and he's a wonderful man, by the way. I have to tell you, the president of Mexico, for me, has been really a good man, a very good man, and he understood. But you know, it's very interesting. I told this story a little bit, once or twice, and I said. I went to the State Department. The woman who has been in charge of Mexico for many, many years, 22 years or something, I gave her a list of things that I want to get. I got a lot of those things from the Border Patrol and ICE. They gave me some. They're fantastic people, by the way. I bet you have some here. But they're fantastic people, incredible people. They work hard, they're brave, you know, they love our country. But they gave me a list of 10 things. They said, give me the 10 things you most want. So I ended up with 10 things that they most wanted. I gave it to the person in charge of Mexico at the State Department. And not in a wise guy way, she laughed when she saw the list. She said, sir, we've been trying to get this stuff for 20 years. We're not going to get any of this help. I said, how much do you want to bet? And I'll make you another bet. I'll get it very quickly. And she laughed. And, you know, she didn't know. So then the people came in, high representatives from Mexico came in, and I handed them a list. And they smiled also. They said, no, I'm sorry, we're not going to do any of these. I said, here's what we're going to do. If this isn't approved by Monday, this was a Wednesday, if this isn't approved by Monday, we're going to put a 25% tariff on every single thing that you sell into the United States, including cars, because, you know, they took 32% of our automobile manufacturing business over the course of 20 years, 25 years. So it was very interesting, though, the response, so they wouldn't even think about doing it. Nobody thought it would be possible. I would say I got the approval in about 2 seconds. They looked at me and they said, we'd love to do it.
I haven't asked you before, but while you were president, you met with a lot of Democrats. I mean, they were in and you conferred with them. Did any of them ever tell you, and if you could name the people, that would be good, why they didn't want effective border enforcement, the wall? Did any of them say, we don't want it?
So there are things that are not answerable. There are things that, who could believe, for instance, voter ID. For instance, defund the police. For instance, open borders. Who would want open borders with millions of people coming in? Worse than we've ever had. We had the strongest border in the history of our country 1 year ago, and today we have the weakest in the history of our country. Maybe the weakest in the history of the world, because I can't imagine any country would allow what's happening to our country. So, you know, when you ask that, you just say, they're either crazy or they don't love our country.
Did they ever say to you, Mr. President, we don't want the wall because of this?
No. No. Well, they said because we want modern technology. They want drones. I said, why? So you can watch everybody pour in. Remember, I used to say in the campaign, no, they said, no, we want modern technology. Great, that's wonderful. We'll take pictures of everybody coming in. Remember in the campaign, I used to say, because you know, in the computer business, and we all invest in different things, a computer is developed and about 3 days later it's obsolete, right? There are two things that are never going to be obsolete. What are they? A wall and a wheel. A wheel is always going to be there no matter what you have, and a wall is always going to be there no matter what you have, but it's a wheel and a wall. Now, walls work. They definitely work. You know, the Vatican was a little critical for a little bit of a while, and then I said, they probably have the largest wall. Did you ever see the wall around the Vatican? I said, you get rid of yours and we'll get rid of ours. It's very simple.
Were you surprised that on his first day in office, President Biden knocked out the Remain in Mexico policy? Were you surprised that surprised you?
I'd have to say yes. Look, it was so good. We had people flowing up in caravans. I think it was my name. I called it a caravan because we had some. And ultimately, you have to make it so difficult they don't do it. And you have to tell them they're not coming into the country. What happened is when he was campaigning, he said, we want everybody to come in, everybody. So everybody was saying, oh, this is a great thing. Millions of people have already entered our country. Many of these people we don't want in our country because many of these people are, as an example with that horror show in Afghanistan, are going to be terrorists. We'll be paying a price for this for a long time. The people coming up through South America, they are a lot of people that you're not going to want, and some people we're going to want. But a lot of these people that are coming in, they're totally unchecked, they're totally unvetted, and I'm not just talking in terms of vaccines, and I'm not talking in terms of masks, I'm not talking about, they are people we have no idea where the hell they come from. The Democrats are crazy. You look at the, and it's a terrible thing to say, I think they're crazy. Either they're crazy, there's one of three things. They're crazy, which I don't think they are. They're stupid, which I don't think they are. Or they hate our country. One of those things. It's got to be one of those three. All right.